A lot of people got something to say about the fact that I got 6 kids with 6 different men. So I'm just gonna tell y'all why it is better to do it this way. If I had 6 kids with all the same dude, I get 34% of his income, which is only $680 a month. If I got 6 kids with 6 different dudes, I get 17% from each one of them, which is $340 a month from each one. $340 a month times 6 baby daddies is $2,040. So why don't you have 6 baby daddies?
Men and boys started falling behind when government began subsidizing single mothers.
They
Listen
tear
up.
the family apart by giving the money to mothers when fathers are absent and not giving money to mothers when fathers are present.
Alright guys, you looking at the thumbnail, you looking at the title of the video, you already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Now guys, before we get into this video here today, let me talk to y'all real quick, all right? Now, I did a video not too long ago, and at the end of the video, what was flashed on the screen was a quote from an author by the name of Warren Farrell. Let's get into that quote real quick. The weakness of men is the facade of strength. The strength of women is the facade of weakness. Now, as you guys already know from the channel, I absolutely love content, right? Whether it be from quotes, books, interviews, where it gives me an additional chapter in life to understand this wacky wide world that we live in. I look at this quote right here and it unlocks in my mind so much of what makes sense within this world. Now, if you haven't caught this particular quote, let me break it down. Again, the weakness of men is the facade of strength. How many of our brothers walk around acting like they're unfazed in carrying the emotional burden of themselves and those around them without taking a break? They force themselves down into a hole of burnout to the extent where they begin to have contempt for the world around them, that we act like we can hold this entire world up like Atlas 100% of the time. Shit, we all need breaks. We all need to deal with our traumas. We all need to deal with our stress. We all need to deal with the emotional abuse that we may have suffered within our past. But what have we been told? Don't cry. Men don't have emotions, and the list goes on. What's the rest of us say? The strength of a woman is the facade of weakness. All right. We talk about this all day, right? This is that victim mentality-ish that we talk about. This is the, let me cry in order to not seek accountability for my bad behavior, my bad attitude, and my bad actions. All right. This is what's commonly deployed as a manipulation tactic to act like they are not in power and in control in order to control you. All right. I've said this since the inception of the channel. The issues that I have with feminism is not the idea of promoting equity or equality for women in our society. I'm all for that. Whatever you want to do, I'm here for you. But what I don't agree with is this fake cloud of men are living in and benefiting from a patriarchy, one of which that women are oppressed in. That is one of the biggest lies of the 21st century. But again, the facade of weakness is the greatest strength. Now, let's get into this reaction here right now, but I wanted to be able to set that up appropriately. Dr. Warren Farrell has a lot of truths. You guys are going to love this content. Without further ado,
Warren Farrell! Warren Farrell!
These students at the University of Toronto are angry because a so-called men's rights activist was speaking at their college. His words are hate speech, they said.
No hate speech on campus!
They stopped people like this man from getting in to see the
Look
lecture.
how angry they are.
I've never heard him before.
We invite you to educate yourself.
So I just wanted to listen to him, but now I can't get in.
The boy crisis.
The so-called men's rights advocate speaking inside was Warren Farrell.
For the first time in U.S. history, boys will have less education than their dads.
Farrell is an odd person to call anti-woman. He was actually an early feminist movement leader. Here he is with Gloria Steinem. But as he learned more, he started to disagree with parts of modern feminism.
I don't agree with the part of feminism that says men are the oppressors and women are the oppressed. That part of feminism is sick.
Men are running the government, they run most companies, they make more money.
Our dads and our grandpas, they made sacrifices to make more money, and then the feminist movement turned all of that sacrifice on the part of men against men, and they haven't said, you were discriminated against men in your own way. You were obliged to earn more money, or we wouldn't even be thinking about marrying you. We wouldn't be thinking about having children with you.
What I tell you guys so many times on this channel, one of the things that you have to protect with your life is your brand identity and your image. You have to. You have to be able to protect that, because those who hold the information, right, and the rights to disseminate that information hold the power. And if they damage your image or the collective image of you, your manhood, your masculinity, with all of their bullshit, then they impact you. That's the power in this space right now, is that we have the opportunity to be able to switch that, to give back power to boys and men. Let's continue.
In his book, The Boy Crisis, Farrell notes that both sexes struggle. Today, boys are almost a third less likely to get college degrees than girls, twice as likely to commit suicide. Why is no one talking about this?
Because we have believed for the last 50 years that men had all the privilege and men had all the power.
Men and boys started falling behind when government began subsidizing single mothers.
They
Listen
tear
up.
the family apart by giving the money to mothers when fathers are absent, and not giving money to mothers when fathers are present.
$340 a month times 6 baby daddies is $2,040. So why don't you have 6 baby daddies?
Money is how you incentivize anybody. So you're telling me that if you get pregnant and you have a child, the government is going to help you. So you're removing the importance of having a father in the household because you still get the financial benefit of that decision. That on top of the ignoring of boy and men issues, on top of the cyclone of feminism, those that act like they are in a weakened position to get the backing of being able to say men ain't shit, men are trash, men are disgusting, without any of the repercussions, has in fact continued to decimate the male image, but no more, because we must call it out. Let's keep going.
That policy, part of the welfare system created in the 60s, helped lead to more households without fathers. Farrell says that hurts boys most. Why are boys more affected than girls?
Boys tend to not have as many skills at developing friendships and developing emotional connections. And so when the family connection breaks apart, it affects them more profoundly than it does their sisters.
This 1989 CBS interview captured the changing attitudes after welfare programs started.
This interview is so crazy. I'm going to go over this interview eventually. Let's keep going.
I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really.
It doesn't make any difference whether she needs a man. It makes a difference that her children need a father.
What happens when the kids don't have fathers?
Children do worse in 70 different areas. They're far more likely to be disobedient, delinquent, drop out of school.
Fathers are critical, says Farrell, because men tend to parent differently. For example, men roughhouse more with kids. Why is that important?
Roughhousing creates so many skill sets. The father's creating a bond with the child. So the children don't mind the discipline because the discipline is the price they pay for more fun with dad.
People think that mothers tend to be better parents because on average, they're more attentive to children's needs.
Mothers are more empathetic as a rule to the children than dads, but an empathetic parent does not create an empathetic child. An empathetic parent is someone who's always thinking of the children's needs, which teach the children to always have his or her needs thought of.
Oh, bars. Okay, what did he just say? Notice that he said over empathetic parent. He didn't say man or woman, but mothers tend to be more empathetic because it appeals more to them being a mother, them being nurturing, right? But it's about balance, okay? That balance is very much needed. Sometimes I wonder and ask myself, why am I so independent? Why am I so self-sufficient? And it's because I was raised in a single parent household and my dad is extremely independent, extremely self-sufficient. Don't ask nobody for nothing. That right, like, and just knows within himself he's gonna be able to. And he put me in all these activities as a kid. You know what I'm saying? He always had me active. He was never like, there were certain things that he was just like, well, I don't know if you should be doing that because, and he taught and he gave me like these long goddamn lectures and shit like that. But like at the same time, you know, he allowed me to make my own decisions. He allowed me to get my own bumps, get my own scrapes. You know what I'm saying? But he did it within a controlled environment, right? So I wasn't overly mothered. And within that, I completely lack the ability to feel entitled just regarding certain things. In fact, sometimes I often suffer from imposter syndrome because I don't think that I should be in certain places because I don't feel as though I've worked hard enough to be in those certain places. Okay. So we talk about balance, but then also too, I literally lack the ability to not be accountable for my own actions because within that independence, within put me into things and having me try these different things out and knowing that at the end of the day, it was no one else's fault but my own. It's forever ingrained within my mind. Those are some of the things that I think fathers instinctively put within a child's mind. And especially in the community that I reside in, we have a lack of that. So we see so many that are so entitled and lack pure and utter accountability for the choices and decisions that they are making. Let's keep going.
The empathy is created by the father or the mother requiring the child to think about the father's needs, the mother's needs, their brother's needs.
In fact, he says helping children too much is harmful. Dr. Phil covered that in this video clip.
Robbie, Mom is rewriting your essay.
Why? What is wrong with my essay?
Listen, this is the first paragraph. You wrote, have no time to eat. You need to start with...
Mom, I'm in middle school. I'm not in high school yet. You want me to try. Let me try. Don't do it for me, Mom. I really want to do it myself.
Yeah,
Moms
it's too much.
are filled with love, and they want to make sure their children do well. So they often do for the children. Dads are filled with love, but the way that dads love is to feel that I need to love the children by having the children learn how to do for themselves.
Yeah.
Having both an
Facts.
involved mother and father leads to the best outcome for kids. A government summary of studies notes children who live with their fathers are more likely to have good physical and emotional health, to achieve academically, to avoid drugs, violence, and delinquent behavior.
Here's the thing. When I look at content like this, I start to also think about the transition from boyhood to manhood in a sense that I think it's impactful. First of all, it's the most impact to have both parents there in thinking through the benefits of stages in the life. And maybe as a young boy, okay, it's okay to have much more of a mother's presence, but it seems as though that from that transition from boy to man, like some it's got to be something like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, like right around there. They have to have significant respect for their father so they can get the influence from their father and all of the things that we've just talked about before. It's almost as if as a mother, you have to take a step back in a young boy's life so that he can get that manhood tutelage. It is so important. It is so important. And the studies show that they become more successful. Let's keep going.
We need men to be involved in the fathering role to a much greater degree than they are and have been, even when we control for the amount of money a father and mother earn. Children with dads still do much better.
Ready? Jump, jump, woo! Jump, woo!
Okay. Here's the last thing I want to say about this is that the issue of fatherlessness is so large that there's an entire sector on YouTube that talks about the importance of manhood and masculinity. I mean, just think about it right now. I really don't believe that this sector of YouTube will be where it's at today if the single parent rate wasn't at where it is. I really think that, because there'd be a lot more young men that understands more about themselves, their masculinity, how to be a leader, a true leader, and to be accountable wholeheartedly for all the decisions that they make, to be assertive, to be confident in a manly way, if that number didn't exist. Anyway, guys, I wanted to bring this content to you today. You know, we do the hood booger shit from time to time, but I always got to get in my bag when it comes to this education stuff. Again, the author's name is Dr. Will Ferrell. He's got a YouTube channel as well, so feel free to go up there and check him out. I'll link him down below. I also think I'm going to pick up his book as well. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk here today. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourself. Last but not least, I got a Patreon. Link down to it in the description box down below. One of the main benefits, at a certain tier, you get access to my private community, my Discord server, where we talk about content like this in developing your manhood, your masculinity, financial education, purpose talk, and so much, much more. Link down below. I'll see you soon. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.